to you all and welcome to Wear Many Hats. This is the podcast totally dedicated to the FM and property industry. My name's Rachel and it's good to have you all here. Today we have a fantastic guest. We have Guy Douetil. Hey, I said it right. He is the independent management consultant at GWD Advisors. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
It's really good to have you here. And we're over in Labs, fantastic offices over here. So did you come from far today?
From North Bucks. So just straight down on the Euston Line, 30 minutes. Very easy.
Wow, that's pretty quick. Yeah. Oh, that's decent.
Train.
Yes.
Actually under 30 minutes. So I think most people in London would struggle to do that.
Oh, 100%. I'm a lot further than that with all the tube train changes, etc. So, yeah. But well, thank you for coming. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you do.
My pleasure.
And how many hats you wear. So let's take it back a little bit. Where did it all start for you?
I think like many people at school trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had an idea I would like to do, probably maybe architecture, something with property, and I like drawing. And I thought, well, those two work together. And then somebody told me it would take 7 to 9 years to qualify.
Oh.
So I thought, and school was never a good place for me.
Right.
So I then got directed into surveying, which I hadn't really realised was actually 5 years by the time you've done your degree and then qualify as RSCS. So I'm not sure I would have definitely carried on doing that if I'd known so long, but that was quite a few years ago now.
Yeah. So where did you start? In what sort of company?
So I started at a company called Healy & Baker, which is now Cushman Wakefield.
Yeah.
So they specialised in retail, but covered all the different asset classes. So like most grads, started off in the valuation team, which got me travelling around the country. I think I must have measured up about 300, 400 properties in a year.
Wow.
From depths of Cornwall to the north of Scotland. But that gives you a good perspective of the UK.
Yeah.
Took me to towns and cities I would never have been to. And, you know, I like geography, I like traveling, so that worked for me. And then migrated into the industrial team.
Yeah.
Just as kind of when business parks started happening and there was kind of this quasi-industrial, high-tech phenomenon. Now I'm really showing my age. And so I enjoyed that. And I started doing, although I was working for landlords and tenants, there was no such thing really as tenant rep. But I started acting for tenants in that capacity. And some of our clients were like Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's. So some of it was particularly building up their new warehouses because they had massive expansion. So a big warehouse when I first started was like 50,000 square feet. Then it was 125, then 250. And I think the last one I did 6 years later was like 750,000 square feet.
That's huge.
It's big. And what's interesting about it is you sort of look back over your past. They've now knocked that down.
Oh, so wow.
It just sort of sees that whole cycle of going through. But so, I was in industrial for 5 or 6 years. And kind of when that was similar to the same experience, but over a shorter time frame. When I came to let the same building for the third time, I was thinking, there's a bit more to life than this.
Yeah, you were there a while as well, 23 years.
23 years, but that was just the first part of it. So, when you talk about wearing many hats,
I see.
For me, I wore many hats at the same company. So I went from there into our European team.
Yeah.
When they were expanding into Eastern Europe. And so I helped them open offices or form alliances, associations in Romania, Bulgaria, Russia, and started doing, I suppose, multi-market work for corporates before it was called corporate services or solutions. So that was fun. And we were going into places you start having to look them up on the map.
Yes.
And that's just the country level, let alone the cities within those countries.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, if you could work with a client. So one of my first projects with Citigroup, for example, was in Athens in Greece.
Oh, how lovely.
So, yes or no, except for it wasn't a very sophisticated real estate market in those days.
Right.
And I did one for Merrill Lynch in the Middle East. But the point is that if you can deliver a project successfully for clients in the difficult markets, then you can come back and knock on the door and say, hey, can I help you somewhere else?
Yes.
And they think you've done a good job.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been about business development and growing business and finding clients.
Networking.
And be able to say, somebody says, can you help me here? And you go, of course, yes. And then you have to go and work out how the hell you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So, when you're younger, it takes a bit more guts to do it because you haven't got the experience. As you do it more and more, you understand that actually other people are in exactly the same boat.
Yes.
So you're not, there's nothing unusual, but it was, people want help. And if you work in a big corporate, I always remind people that, our clients, they may be working in an organization of 2,000, 20,000 or 200,000.
Yeah.
But their real estate team is always relatively small. Yeah. Particularly the transactional strategy project side of it. The FM might be much bigger, obviously, because you're covering a breadth of services. But those people are expected to know what good looks like.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they're not good at their jobs, but they don't necessarily always seeing what the latest things are going on. And that's why working with a service provider who has experiences from different geographies, from different sectors, from different asset classes, you can bring all that into creating a solution, a real estate, whatever it is, a transaction, a project for clients.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And I love how you've worked globally as well. I think that's quite fascinating. I don't get many guests on the show that actually do that. It's obviously predominantly here in the UK, so that's a great thing to have done. And you still do that?
I still do that. Yeah. So business development role, where I was asked by the CEO to focus on creating 1 and 1 to make 3.
Right.
Or, if you did a transaction, do a project. If you worked in one country, do it into another country. Keep on looking for the next opportunity.
Yes.
And, most people are focused on delivering whatever they're working on for their client, finishing it, and then moving on.
Yeah.
And particularly in transactions, you do that. There's been there for another 3 to 5 years minimum. So I don't need to talk to that company for that period of time. But as a larger company, what they want to do is be talking to that company the whole time and doing all their transactions or all their projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even some of them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my role, to go and lift people's head out of their day-to-day and say, well, look, if you did that great project in Barcelona, can we do something for them somewhere else? And they go, well, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
And you go, well, did you do a good job for them? Yeah, they were really, really happy. We had a big celebratory dinner. But I didn't ask. And I said, well, but who did you have that? Who was your client? Well, there was the local guy, but head of EMEA and head of global. Well, they work on lots of projects the whole time.
It's about working on the next one, isn't it? And
they're doing multiple ones at the same time. So didn't you think to say, well, could we do, somewhere else? Well, he did say he was going to Germany, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure about what our German office is like. So anyway, we were talking about football at the time, so we went back talking about football. Yeah. So it's just, my job was to go back and say, well, can we not, say, hey, we just did a great job for you here. any other opportunities? Can we just come in and have a conversation with you?
Yeah.
And that's all you ask for.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think, there's a lot of senior people who, will give up 30 minutes of their time if they think you've got something valuable to deliver to them. And often that 30 minutes turns into an hour.
Of course. Yeah.
And, people, as much as we're all blinkered into our own little bit, when you're talking to the global head of real estate, he's got to be, or she's got to be working and delivering best in class. But for them to know what best in class is very difficult because they only deal with their piece or from the previous company. What are their experience showing? So part of our role, I think, as a service provider is to help them understand what good looks like. Yeah. And what bad looks like. Yeah. And actually, the biggest learnings come from the mistakes and getting it wrong, rectifying them.
Yes, I agree.
I get fed up going to conferences where people turn up and they go, "Oh, this is great project, nice, shiny. It was fantastic. Won all the awards for it." But I just want to ask them, well, what went wrong? Yeah. And how did you get over that?
That's it. What were the challenges?
Yeah. Because I bet you it wasn't a smooth ride along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, I always say that if it was easy, clients wouldn't need us. They would just do it themselves.
That's it. Absolutely. So from Cushman Wakefield, where did you go? You had a long time there, weren't you?
Yeah, 23 years there. Then I was headhunted by colleagues to head up their corporate solutions team. Okay. So at that stage, it was 2011. Okay. So, most of the big global companies had a corporate solutions team, but Colliers didn't really in Europe. They had people they call corporate solutions, but mostly were tenant rep. So it was going in there and building the team up from the ground up. Turning sort of 2 people, 3 people into a functioning team, and winning and bidding against the other CB, JLL, Michael's Hat Shop of Cushman's, and taking them on as a kind of the new pretender. Yes. So that was fun. So that sort of allied. I always sort of kind of say, well, my skill was in finding the opportunity, the networking, but also building teams. So I did that within Cushman's. I helped build teams there, and I did that at Colliers, and I did that for 6 years. Then I was given an opportunity to find an alternative career. I see. They made me redundant.
Oh, okay.
But
one door closes, another door opens.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting one because I'd never not had a job. I never had to really look for a job because one was a grad job, so I'd sort of got that straight out of uni, or was it Polytechnic when I went?
Polytechnic, yes.
And proudly as Portsmouth Polytechnic, now the University of Portsmouth. So
Polytechnic, that's an old word you've thrown back.
Yeah, but it was a vocational degree. Yes. I think we forget how important that is. Yeah. And everybody gets a degree now, and what use is that?
Yes, it's not always necessary, I don't think, now, unless you're a specialist in something.
Well, there's a lot, we're turning out thousands of law graduates every year, for example, and there are only a handful of jobs. Yeah. And frankly, those are shrinking because of AI. Yeah. So,
oh my goodness, yes.
So it's kind of, sure, go and get trained and uni, poly is really good fun. Well, certainly was for me. I had an absolute blast. And then I had to sort of grow up and do a proper job. Yeah. Took me still a while to do that. Yeah. But the learning having been made redundant, it was, okay, well, I've got to, I also then had a non-compete, non-solicit. Yes. So I sort of had a year in the garden. Nice. To try and work out what I wanted to do, or more importantly, what I didn't want to do. Yeah, that's as important, isn't it, when moving forwards? And so I actually used my network. Yes. So for me, the network is everything. Because frankly, I'm not that intelligent. Yeah. So I need to build up a relationship and a trusted relationship with people all the way around. Yes. And know how to sort of deliver things. Yeah. anyway, I used that network, and I must have seen 100 plus people in the first 6 months, just asking for a coffee, meet, and people were happy to give up their time. And I said, well, I talked to them. Well, I listened to them.
Yeah.
And I was trying to sort of work out what I wanted to do. So when I decided what I didn't want to do, which is I didn't want to do another corporate solutions type role.
Right. Okay.
In real estate. I had one of the few regional roles, leads. And so there weren't that many of them, but, I kind of done that. So it was kind of what else I wanted to do. But there were two themes coming out of when I talked to people. So this was in 2018, 19, and it was around people and data.
Right, yeah.
And people were saying, we can't hire and retain the right people. And there is so much data now out there. How do we make sense of it? So I knew this company, Hickey, that did that. So I was asked, we had a discussion, I came in and again asked to set up their EMEA business. So that was on location consulting. So location consulting is helping clients figure out where to put their business.
Right.
So that could be macro, I want to put my new manufacturing facility. I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or a new laboratory, or micro.
Yeah.
I've decided on this country. So I had a meeting this morning with a professional services company. So we are looking to move our shared service centre function into somewhere across the UK.
Right. So
but we don't know where to go.
Right.
So this is primarily a cost-saving exercise because they've got most of those functions in London.
Yeah.
So, but where can I go? How does that feed into our already existing network of offices? From a connectivity point of view, how can we get the skills and the quantities we want? So it's a 200 or 300 person office. So it's a reasonably significant number of people. So where can I go to satisfy that? Or it could be, I've decided I need to be in Birmingham. Where in Birmingham? So that's when it gets to the later stages. Yeah. So, where do I need to relocate? Where do my existing staff live? How easy is it for them to come into the office? Particularly now we've had a lot of, working from home.
Yes.
So if I'm going to ask people to come in, so I did a project in New Jersey in the US for a client. So look, we've got a lease coming up in the next 3 years. We can't get more than 25% of our people to come into the office. And we don't want to force them.
Yeah.
But how can we make it easier for them to do it? So one, we can redesign the space and make it, fantastic. So it's exciting to come in and it performs, to the standards that they want. Because I don't know if you come up with a Leaseman Group, they measure workplace, and they've shown that the average home working environment supports the average employee better than the average office environment.
Right.
Because most people have now got it set up in a way that works for them.
Yeah, for post-COVID,
So if I'm coming in, I need it to function at least as good.
Yeah.
If not better than what else. And I could go down a whole rabbit hole of talking about workplace and
it's a lot on the agenda, and with Wear Many Hats, we get a lot of workplace professionals on, and it is about it's got to be so functional and better than home.
Yeah,
to come in, it's expensive to come into the cities, and
well, that's a lot of. So I've worked, on projects with clients, and they get the workplace design and the architects in, and everybody sort of and the real estate guys, and they're all focused on how can we create this, vibrant office, and they forget that people have an experience before they get to an office.
Yeah, of course. Yes, they do.
So you are making a commitment now more than ever, because you had to come to the office.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, I've said for decades that most companies treat their employees like children. They will, in the old, they told them where to come, when to come, when they could go for a pee break.
Yeah. That's it.
It was ridiculous.
But
then I'm going to trust you to make multi-million-pound decisions on behalf of my company.
Very different.
Or our clients.
Yeah.
But I can't trust you where or when to come to the office.
It's funny, isn't it?
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's an old way of working, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, so now everybody, is typically the real estate, they all get excited about creating this fantastic environment. But if you make a decision going from home, you've got an expensive commute, a difficult commute. If you've got to walk down the road for 10 minutes, it's not a big decision whether I go to the office or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, you want the change, probably.
Yeah.
So most of the time, you'll make the effort to go in. If you've got to do it 45 minutes, an hour each way.
And the expense,
it's hugely expensive and it's stressful.
It is, yeah.
And it's a waste of time. So, what are you giving up? So I work from home a lot. I'm not traveling. I can go, I'm not a gym bunny. I like cycling. So I go cycle for an hour in the morning.
Wow, well done.
Because that's good.
It really is.
Physically and mentally.
Mentally, absolutely.
And I can do that before my work day. If I was coming to the office, I used to do it. I used to take the Boris bikes or the city bikes.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Before they were electric powered. But people say, well, why didn't you have your own bike? It's sort of because one, it was 70 quid or 90 quid for a year. It wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I did it for the exercise.
Yeah, so good.
And I don't like running. My knees are shot anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, it was
cycling,
getting a bit of time. But if I had to come into the office every day, I wouldn't get that. Or if the weather's horrible, I take the dog for a walk.
Yeah, nice. It's good to get out and out and about. I love that. I love that you cycle as well. And I've a lot of the workplaces now are built around cyclists coming into work with the showers, and that's been for a little while, but more so now. I think people are a little more health conscious, aren't they? And also the cost. They save money by
exactly, a lot of money,
and the pollution and everything else that goes along with
I'm not sure most people put that into the equation.
Yeah.
Some very good people probably do.
Me, not me.
or
Zero carbon.
They do, but voting with your feet. But So, but digressing from that, which was a location consultant. Helps people figure out what to do and puts everything into the equation. Anyway, I left for circumstances I probably won't go into a couple of years and decided to set up my own company.
Lovely.
So...
and this was a year and 8 months ago, it says on LinkedIn.
That's probably about right, yes.
Yeah,
so,
lovely.
It's been fun.
Well, you can tell us about that in a minute, what you do on your day-to-day. But, you mentioned about uni and, did you always know that you would end up on this path? You mentioned that you loved, like, building, drawing, architecture. Did you think you would fall into this?
Partly it was because of that. The other bit was I was also pretty sure I didn't want to have a desk job that tied me to a desk the whole time.
Yeah.
I certainly... not an accountant type person.
No, me neither.
So I needed, I'm a people person, getting out and about and seeing. And for me, that ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
But like everything, do you really know what it means? I, fortunate enough, met a couple of chartered surveyors, had lunch with them through friends and family just to sort of understand. And they gave up some time and got the enthusiasm for what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people want, is that confidence. Leaving uni or school, where my future? I mean, they're mad at, I've got 2 grown-up kids.
Yeah.
And they went, well, what am I? I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Well, my daughter was very different, actually. She wanted to be a nurse. She's a paediatric nurse.
Oh, wow. Love that.
So it was very focused on that. The whole of her degree was based around that. My son went and did business studies in Newcastle, and somewhere between drinking Newcastle Dry, he managed to find some time to study. But also got a year's work placement at Deloitte.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
it set him on his path.
Set him into management consulting, not the auditing side.
Yeah.
And he's enjoyed that. So
you're
never quite sure, he was given some internship offers in other places, might set him off on a whole different path.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? You sort of pivot and go another way. But so who gave you, or what gave you that real push in your career? Was that, you mentioned sort of you went out for lunches and speaking to people that sort of put you on that path?
I think my father, expectation was, we were definitely never spoon fed. I mean, I'm very lucky. I had a very good private school education.
Yes.
But it was, you got to get out and sort yourself out.
Yeah.
I'll help you in a way, but it was part of it was
learning, isn't it?
Actually, I didn't want to go and ask for help.
Yeah.
Just go out and do it. And I see that now with friends, some help their children more than others, and I'm not really sure that's the best thing.
Yeah.
You can help them when they ask, but, some people are actually filling in the gaps.
Yeah. I mean, I was pushed into recruitment by my dad. That's it. You're doing that.
And did you regret that?
Well, I was 25 years in recruitment. That's a long old time.
Yes. You just finally worked out you didn't want to be in it?
Yeah. I mean, I love the property industry, and that's what I did work in for many, many years. And and facilities and, within recruitment. So, and it's sort of, it just leads you onto that path. And I love the property industry. I absolutely love it. Not only am I interested in the architectural side of buildings in general and how they make them and change them and evolve them and adapt them. But it's the people within it that I love more than anything. And the networking and, it's terrific. So
it's very different. I know that,
but
that's the parallels there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's about, and even within property, there are, very different skills and requirements.
Yeah, oh, so many.
To, being, running a facility versus, being a property manager versus being an investment broker.
So much.
And I can guarantee you that you can't, the investment broker will never make a good facility manager, and vice versa.
There's lots of different people and lots of different roles, and there's something to suit everyone, isn't there? But this is the thing, and it's sort of broadening our guests on the show, because I think it's very important to show all different aspects of property, because it's huge, and facilities, of course.
And I think that's one of the benefits of working for a big firm. There are two. One, they help you get qualified more than some of the other. If you have to do it through small.
Yeah.
And so people aren't so driven. That's probably a good thing. The other bit is it gives you an opportunity to sort of taste lots of different things.
Yeah, and it's okay to change in mid-career. I think that's important.
I think a lot of people are really afraid about changing what they're doing. And look, I was 23 years at Cushman's, but I changed my role within that.
Yes.
Every 4 to 5 years.
Because it's big enough to do
planned,
so. Yeah.
But it every time I got that sort of bit where I'm thinking of doing something else, even if I didn't even know it in my mind, it was picked up somehow.
Yeah.
That's what smart leadership is.
Yes.
They understand, okay, well, look,
we need to move you somewhere else and give you a new challenge. Love that. Yeah. And they're big enough to do that. So,
Some people want to be the retail expert in Manchester, and they build their whole career on doing that. Fine. That's absolutely fine for them.
Yeah.
For me, I was doing industrial across a third of the country, and I didn't find that wasn't big enough for me.
Yeah.
And that's not because I'm, being egotistical at all. For me, it's all about learning something different the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. I continue to learn.
I'm hearing that from our guests, is that, it's learning so much, isn't there? And taking that and putting it into another career or looking somewhere else, or like you said, within the same company. Yeah, it's important to do that, I think.
I'm fortunate, I was wandering around I was in Morocco last week
Nice.
with a client, and we were looking around some other industrial facilities there. And, I was thinking how lucky I am that I couldn't do a process-led job. Where you were doing the same thing the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure anybody particularly likes doing it, but some people prefer to have, a defined process, know what their day looks like.
Yeah, yeah. No surprises.
Going there and I earn an honest wage for an honest period of time.
That's it.
But that's never going to be me. Turning the handle and just repeating the same thing.
Yeah. No, you've, I see. I like that sort of role.
But it's not, it's different for everybody.
That's it. But for the property world, I think it's important that, you look at everything within and work towards it, I guess. So let's talk about, GWD advisors. What does a day in your world actually look like these days then? Now you're...
well, it can vary. So, as I said, last week I was
in Morocco.
So the client there, they've had a massive investment from the automotive companies with Renault, Stellantis, opening up factories there.
Right.
And they're now going through a structured process of attracting tier 1 and tier 2 companies, there's suppliers for it, to create their own ecosystem. So that's purely export.
Wow.
So they're exporting into Europe, around the world. They're close to, I think, bringing in a Chinese OEM, which is the original equipment manufacturer. So they're the top sort of companies. I don't know which of the... they said it was an Asian company.
Right.
But it's definitely a Chinese company there. And they'll build, another range of cars there, and then the infrastructure will build around that. But they've made it super simple. So, I'm working in lots of different countries, lots of different markets.
Oh, exciting.
And the UK is not very good at attracting inward investment. Germany, the same. It's, Morocco have worked out, how do I make this really simple for you to come and it's not about us taxing you. They have... The average age of a Moroccan is 29 years old.
Wow.
The average age of a European is 44.
Yeah.
So, but they have big unemployment, 40% unemployment.
Gosh.
So, and they're still a monarchy. And the king said, I want to create more jobs.
Okay.
So how do we do that? So what they're doing is, I'm not going to ask you to come and build that and then tax the hell out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to come and make the investment, and we'll bring the infrastructure, we'll put the roads. They've got one of the most efficient ports in the world there, Tangier Med. We'll provide the renewable energy
this
for
is
you.
Great.
How do we make your life simple? We'll streamline the processes for planning, for zoning, whatever is required, and so that you can get your factory up and running and employ local people.
Yeah, that's terrific. So that's something you're working on at the moment.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. But today it's back in London.
Yeah.
Actually, it rained a bit in Morocco, but into the rain, it was a bit warmer there.
Yeah.
And it's for me that's fascinating. It's different.
Cultures and comfort. I love that. I love traveling as well, and get to do it with your job. That's terrific.
But every project I'm working on kind of looks at a different geography. Somebody said the other day, so, well, do you specialize in a particular sector? And I said, well, no, I'm lucky enough to be sector, asset class and geographic agnostic. So I've worked with pharma companies, financial services. So I did work with a financial services company in Singapore earlier this year.
Nice.
We're a big sportswear manufacturer, looking at 24 different cities across India, because the Bangalore, Chennai markets are hugely over competitive.
Yeah.
So, if you think commuting over here is bad, if you
try
go to
there. Yeah.
Bangalore, it's 2 to 3 hours each way.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So, they were saying, well, are there any tier 2 cities, which are still bigger than most European cities, where we could go and expand in because we want to expand?
Gosh, you must have to do a lot of research then.
Yeah, so
you spend a lot of time.
There's kind of 3 things that we do. One is we provide data so that clients can make fact-based decisions. The second is we provide sort of trends and insights over it. So if you're making an investment in a new location, you're not doing it for 1 or 2 years. So how sustainable is that decision for the next 10, 20 years? Is the labour pool going to be there still? There are so many different influences now. So you've got geopolitics much higher, with risk, with Trump slapping tariffs on, changing his mind. You've got climate change. You've got demographic shifts. One of my fun facts is, right, so every country in Europe has a falling population. Because you need 2.1 children for every female to sustain it without immigration. And places like Italy and Spain are down 1.1.
Oh, wow.
We're at 1.4, 1.5. I think France is the highest at about 1.8. So everywhere has a falling population if you take away immigration.
That's mad.
And I'm not going to get into the whole immigration.
Definitely no. That's a whole nother show.
But there are so many different influences, and then there's a water drought, climate change, overheating. So it's understanding all these different pieces into the making a decision.
I mean, you sort of, we talk about challenges. I mean, you mentioned quite a few there, isn't it? What's testing you at the moment?
Because there are so many challenges, it can change a lot. So if you're saying to a client, this is your the best decision for you to make. But, suddenly tariffs go from 0 to 30 to 50 to 100, back to 30, all in, the space of a week or 6 months or whatever it might be. You've got the Ukraine war, you've got the Gaza war.
Something else could have happened,
The Suez Canal gets blocked, Panama Canal run out of water. So all these things influence differently. So for me, it's understanding how that affects each company.
Yes.
And so that they can put it into their own way of making decisions. So as I said, we provide the data, then the trends and insights. Yeah. The last bit is consensus building. So you can come to the same project. So you're finance, HR, operations, tax, real estate, marketing, and brand. They'll all come to the same project with a different lens. So what you've got to try and do is deliver the same set of information, which is understood by each of those different professions.
Your role is pretty challenging from day to day, then, isn't it? Really, I think it's a.
Well, I don't see it as challenging.
No,
it's
your role. You're fun.
Exactly. And
some people wouldn't like that, though, would they? That so much.
If you ask me, how do you do your job every day, I wouldn't have a clue.
That's it. Yeah.
So it
becomes natural.
For me, that's what I naturally want to do.
Yeah, it's great.
And a lot of it's about listening.
Yes.
Many say I probably talk too much anyway, so I have to remind myself to listen to people.
Yeah.
Because you learn a lot more.
Absolutely. You do. So where do you think the industry's heading, and sort of what excites you? I mean, we mentioned AI a little bit, and ESG, sort of tech. What's kind of exciting you at the moment?
The problem about the real estate industry is probably the most conservative, probably with a large C and a small c, out there. I always thought the kind of legal profession, insurance, were quite conservative, but real estate is much more conservative. So we are slower to embrace change. And that's partly because of that kind of bit, which is landlord versus tenant.
Yes.
And it all comes down to a conflict between the investor who wants to maximize income with a minimum level of service.
Yeah.
And the tenant who wants the maximum service for the minimum amount of cost. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some very smart landlords and investors and tenants who have breached that.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you look at the real estate industry, I don't know what the statistic, and I'm a data person, so I'm now going to make up some data. But say that in most countries, only 5% of the real estate stock, just say offices, for example, is owned by large multinationals, investors, who, the Heinzes of the world, who get it, understand it. Then you might have another sort of 10 to 20%, which is owned by large country investors, and who may be in lots of different regional markets. But they're all dealing with kind of the prime locations stuff. The majority of property is owned by small private investors, who just there to get some money out of it. So there's no real connection at that level between the owners and the tenants. There is a connection, and that's the service providers. And I don't think any of the big service providers have really taken that role to try and smash the two together. And say this is the right way of doing it, because most people are focused on doing deals. It's don't get me wrong, there are some very good people in every company who are doing it absolutely right, but the majority of people are just challenged to do their job. So if you look at a total outsource thing, I'm going to outsource all my transactions, all my projects, and all my FM to one company. Well, how many companies really can do that on a true global scale, particularly if it's different asset classes as well, and deliver to the same standard everywhere? There's very few of them. And you could get a really good person at the top running the account, absolutely, totally understands the interplay between transactions, projects, and FM. And you might even get down to the country level and you have somebody who's running the account on that basis. But as soon as you get below that, you get really good FM people and really good transaction people and some really good project people, but they're just focusing on doing their bit. And it's very difficult to create that the holistic piece. Now, I'd go back to your question about what are kind of the opportunities are. ESG, I mean, most companies are still, it's part of a decision process. But how much, when I put it on a weighting for our clients, it's a 5 to 10% out of 100. And so it's not high in the agenda. It's there.
But it's
if
on
you
there.
have two equal buildings, and one's at a higher rent because it's LEED amazing, platinum or whatever the top one is, or BREEAM, then there's a decision to make. Will I pay more for the building that has that capability, sustainable, green, or will I not? And then if I will, am I going to pay 5% more, 10% more? Actually, what happens is the market levels out. So what we're seeing in the prime is they're all being built to that standard. So that's the rent. And then if you don't provide it, your rent is X minus 10, 20%.
So looking back, what moment or project are you still proud of today? God, there must be many.
Lots of different things. I was kind of thinking you probably asked me a question like that. And I think the honest answer is the projects I've enjoyed the most is when the team has worked the best. And that's, with the client, with my own team, with any third-party consultants you're working with, where it becomes fun. So it's understanding sort of that motivation. I was saying, I think I mentioned earlier, and I don't think I ever got to the end of it, which I said there's three layers of selling. So one is you've got to be able to deliver can you do a project in this market? Yes. Second level is, do you understand what my specific needs is? So basically, no company wants property, really. They need somewhere to store things, manufacture things, sell things, bring people together, but they don't go out and say, I want a big property portfolio.
Yeah.
And then the third level is the personal bit, is asking the client, what's their motivation?
Yeah.
How are you rewarded at the end of the year? Because, is it about saving money? Is it about creating an amazing workplace?
Yeah.
Is it difficult to put your finger on? They'll just, if somebody thinks I've done a good job. But the bit for me, understanding, it's like, how productive is my day? How can I measure that? Well, some days it's sitting on a train and having some time to think. And other times being in a client meeting and, delivering on it. But I can tell you could tell me whether my day was good or bad. And that's my wife and family.
Yeah.
When you walk in, hey, honey, how was your day? And you go, it's crap.
Yeah.
Stuck at Euston, everything went wrong. Blah, blah, blah. I had the phone keeps going, like emails going out my ears. Versus, I had a really good meeting. We were definitely aligned. We're going to deliver the most amazing thing. Yeah. So I didn't really answer your question, because there's been some challenging projects. But for me, the bits I've enjoyed the most is the team.
Love that. I've heard that before as well. And I like,
sorry.
No, I like that answer. That it's not just about you; it's the team that you work with to deliver. And
I don't mean that from a corny point of view, but that's how I'm motivated.
Yeah.
I'm a people person.
Yeah, I like it.
And I'm not completely selfless.
Yeah. No, I like it.
My motivation is selfish. A lot of the time. But
I like it when people say that, it's the team that's part of one of their best projects is working with the teams. I like it.
So overall, I think that when I built teams, whether it be at Cushman's or Colliers or at Hickey or now at GWD, surrounding yourself with lots of people who can help you deliver what you need to do. And, a lot of people are a lot smarter than you are. Take it from them. It's just, and when you do those psychometric profiles, thousands over the years, the ones that really stand out is actually, the person you work with best often is completely opposite of you. Yeah. So they're a really good foil to you.
That's it, because they've got skills and attributes that you don't. So
you need to be able to have an open. So one of the guys I work with at the moment, he does a lot of my data modeling and everything like that. He's much smarter the guy than I am, but he absolutely, he'll challenge me and I'll challenge him back. And, it's going, well, I think that's rubbish, guy. Sometimes
relationship. Yeah.
I'll go, well, I may not be right, but I feel that that's what we can do.
Mm-mm. So what's something you wish you knew when you were starting out? Yeah, being stuck in a,
Yeah, I was never stuck too long.
Yeah.
Although 23 years is...
Yeah, but you evolved in that, in that role, in the company, sorry.
But, I've seen people move, I think the real answer is, so one of my own mottos is to regret as little as possible.
Yeah.
And I think I can look back over my life and say, well, I haven't regretted making those decisions.
Yeah.
Because even if it's from a business perspective, it's, well, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have met my wife or friend. Exactly, or if I hadn't done this, it's, each one has a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't started off at Healy & Baker, or if I'd moved on into a different thing, I wouldn't have met my wife and I wouldn't have my children, I wouldn't have my grandchildren, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So it's all a knock-on effect.
So it's all aligned for you, really.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's all been a bed of roses, but...
No, of course not. Life isn't, is it? Yeah.
I mean, the advice I would give to people is to surround yourself with good mentors. And that could be within the team, within the company, or outside.
Yeah.
They could be friends, they could be family, they could be completely, somebody you just connect with.
Yeah.
But identify those as early as possible.
Yeah.
Because they're the best sounding boards.
Yeah.
And they're also the ones who will give you a kick up the backside and say,
if you need to be spoken to.
go on and do it. Or just sometimes it's reassurance, a sounding board.
Yeah, absolutely.
The amount of times you do this the whole time with your friends and family, which is somebody goes, I don't know what to do, and everyone go like this, and they may be crying their eyes out. But actually, when you come down to it, they know what to do. They just want somebody to help make that decision.
Soundboard, yeah. No,
so mentoring, I think, is hugely important, and I've enjoyed mentoring people and being mentored.
Yeah, I like that. So if someone came to you tomorrow saying, I want to do what you do, what would you say to them?
I'd ask them, what do you think I do?
First and foremost.
Because even within location consulting, strategy consulting, there are lots of different roles. So you can have real data nerds who are going out, collecting all the information, putting it into a model and everything like that. That's not me.
Yeah.
I can look at a set of data and I can smell what's right and wrong. But I'm a networking people person. So it's, I don't know if that answers the question, but.
No, I think so. You've got to get out there and meet people and and drill down on what your areas you're best at, I guess, isn't it? I'm very much like you. I need to be out and about and meeting and networking, and I couldn't be just confined to a desk.
But even if you are happy being a kind of more of a silo specialist, whatever, you never know what's going to be around the corner.
Yeah, you don't.
So actually having a way to maintain your network, and something like LinkedIn is super easy now.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, and it's great because people move around and you can track them, and I mean, I've won business simply by going, hey, see, you've moved to the X company, and we're like, let's have a cup of coffee or a conversation. We haven't spoken for ages. Yeah. It's just finding a reason to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, one of the most challenging bits we had, and it goes back to business development, and it's a happy and actually a sad story at the same time, which is a grad came to me years ago when I was at Cushman's and said, Guy, this business development lot, what do you do? And I said, well, he said, should I look at, what sectors, the growing sectors and whatever? I said, well, you can do that, but, if you don't have a connection into that market, then
pointless.
Absolutely pointless. So what you want to do is but you need to find, and in real estate, it's all about companies who are changing. Because if they need to grow or shrink, then they need to change their real estate. So for most people in the industry, having a changing real estate means fees and opportunities, etc. So next day he comes in, the paper on it was this big electronics company going to get rid of 10,000 people. Is that what you mean? I said, absolutely. He said, what do I do now? So I said, well, we now find out whether there's anybody who has a connection with that company. So he said, okay, fine, where do I do that? So I gave him some areas to go and look at. So he came back and said, well, I found a guy in one of our offices. What do I do now? I said, well, we'll speak to him and say, look, how well do you know this person? Can you get us a meeting? Anyway, long and short, we got the meeting. It was in Berlin. I had to get up before I went to bed, I'm always saying for a first flight out. So I was sitting there at 6 o'clock in Heathrow thinking, why am I here? Got to Berlin, had the meeting with the client. We'd prepared a presentation. We didn't get past the first slide. And it went on. We had an hour, and like 2 and a bit hours later, the client said, look, sorry, we've got to go and do something else. So we all come and go, that's great. Fantastic. It was really well connected. What we were talking about is what they were doing. We answered all their challenges, etc. So we're all coming out high-fiving, definitely got some business out of it. Followed up, nothing.
Yeah.
The guy who had the connection followed up, nothing. The guy in Germany followed up, nothing. And so over 6 months this went on. And the other two said, look, this is clearly, it was a nice meeting and that was it. I said, but no, I'm sorry, but there was something there. So I said, look, I pinged the guy an email. I said, I'm coming back to Berlin seeing another client, which I wasn't.
Right.
Is it worth having another meeting? He said, yeah, sure.
And then
went in there and we did one of the biggest sale and leasebacks in multi-market across Europe. And I think our fees were 1.5 million.
That's insane. I love that. And that shows the dedication of staying connected all the time, regardless whether you think something's there or not. I love it. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you here. And and that's the end of the show. So thank you. So please do share, and do get in touch with Guy if you have any questions for him, and get the word out there on the facilities, property and estate agency world that we live in. But thank you, Vane.
Thank you.
Until next time, take care.